Is IS-3 a good tank to aim for? It is. Yeah. You analyze the Fisherman playing LOL tractors. No problem, Crow. Hello, Killjoy. I like this. I really like it. I like it. Let's see. Next now, what gun does he have? And he want a big gun. Very good. I said it before, you got a choice like 2 guns and an E-100. People have started using the DPM gun and the E-100, right? There's only a slight problem with using that gun. Well, there's several problems with using that gun, right? Problem number 1. DPM doesn't really work on a tank that doesn't have armor. E-100 has some armor, but it's not exactly a super armored tank, you know? If, for example, you take a tank like the 279, well, has DPM and a lot of armor, or a tank like the Tortoise, has a lot of DPM but a lot of armor to sustain it, so yeah. DPM gun can be a good choice, but it's very situational on a tank like E-100, because in some games you're probably not going to bounce anything. Big gun, on the other hand, you'll do trades a lot better with your tank, right? When you expose yourself, you're going to be doing 750 instead of 490 or how much the other gun is, right? So big gun is a lot more suitable for the maps we have, these corridor maps.
Welcome to the bee's knees.
Also, not to mention, you need to shoot gold ammo with both guns. Big gun, if you care about the economy, big gun is a lot more worthwhile to use with gold ammo, right? Because like I think the shell prices are going to be like very similar, right? But you pay, I don't know, 5k for 750 alpha and you pay 5k for 490, so big gun is a lot more worthwhile also from the credits point of view. So yeah. I see he's playing the E-100 with the HP module. Wouldn't necessarily be something I would recommend doing, because yeah, I personally don't try to increase the defense of a tank, right? I don't try to increase the defense of a tank necessarily. I try to like use the skill to try to dodge shells, you know, angling, side scraping, so yeah. But I guess it's personal preference, so. Alrighty. Well, Fisherman's Bay is another map that kind of got destroyed with the rework. Yeah. I was doing HD 50 and some HP points is useful. I'm not gonna say anything, like I said, it's preference, so yeah. So pretty much kind of the only choice for a slow, heavy tank is to go in the city. Unfortunately, they added like a lot of bushes and vegetation, and all the fighting you get in the city now is like tanks, sniping, and bushes, so and that's another thing, yeah. But definitely the right way to go here, you know. Like I said, I don't really have much choice with a tank like the E-100. Okay. Mistake number 1. You could have easily stopped behind the bush and shot that guy. You could have double bushed and not even get spotted. So mistake number 1, there was absolutely no reason for you to shoot the guy on the move. Could have stopped perfectly fine and shot him. You know? Not only you like lost a shot of damage, you also potentially could have gotten shot in the side by the enemy tanks, because you got spotted as soon as you shot, so there was absolutely no reason for you to do that. You could have easily just aimed and shoot and shot them. Yeah, this is like another thing you shouldn't be doing. You're pretty much, well, you're side scraping. You keep moving back and forth behind the bush. You're probably not gonna have any like. You're probably gonna lose like all your camo value, you know. if the guy in the front just like goes and stays in a bush and watches you, so probably not the best position to be doing this out, I suppose. Yeah, because you basically got the chance of like being spotted all the time and them seeing you and shooting you. So, yeah. Since they added all these bushes, it's probably a better idea on this map to try to double bush when you shoot somewhere, including blind shotting, right? It's probably a much better idea. Yeah, it doesn't really have camo anyways, but if you noticed, if tanks stay stationary, they don't really get spotted, so... don't get spotted because of the bushes. Honestly, if you were to do this, like this is good because you loaded high explosive, you know, you don't really have a choice to do anything else. But if you were to be doing this, you could have easily like went further towards the next building because you're just basically closing the distance between you and the enemies. Since you move constantly and you're probably getting spotted whenever you move, you could easily go here next to this building and close the distance, so that whenever the enemy heavies pop in the bushes, you're probably gonna spot them too. So yeah, you should have just like went closer and close the distance, because you know, if you're gonna be spotted all the time, might as well be spotting the enemy tanks too. So the tortoise like spotted the phase instantly, so that's exactly what we should be doing. Also, one thing, like you keep exposing your E-100 turret all the time. You just like angle your turret to be the same line as your hull, but the E-100 turret, you also have like this portion here when you're doing that. You're kind of giving the flat portion of your turret to the enemy. You should be like over angling slightly, you know, to be able to like cover that side too. Because the E-100 is gonna get penned like quite easily if they shoot heat. Exactly what I'm saying. Well, now you like started doing it better. Sometimes you do it, sometimes you don't. Yeah, you kind of like leave some of your turret exposed. Yeah, like I said, he should just be like closing the distance. Not from here though. Most definitely not from here. Again, you're like exposing yourself for nothing. You could have just as easily went around the building and went here where the tortoise is, without potentially getting shot by a million tanks, because you don't even know how many tanks they got in the bushes there or here. So you basically just expose yourself for nothing, you know? At least if you've gotten some damage out of it, but you just expose yourself for absolutely nothing. So again, just because a route is faster doesn't mean it's better. Okay, safer is better in this game. Take your time if you need to go to a position without losing your HP, right? Yeah. Again, you just like went with the side of your tank to the IS-4. Not really like... a good shot on the IS-4, not really like paying attention to your tank too much, I'm seeing. Yeah. And also the E-50 has plenty of time to reload and shoot you again. I have no idea why you push it in when you could have easily just stayed in the back here and shot him while side scraping. You know, you definitely like... you're very reckless with your tank. Yeah. Very reckless with your tank. Like you don't seem to... I don't even know why you put the HP module on your tank, because you don't seem to do anything to actually bounce shots. You're just pushing very recklessly without angling your tank or side scraping whatsoever. You just like rely on the fact that they're gonna... you seem to rely on the sole fact they're gonna bounce on you. And now you're pushing into like mediums in the middle, so I'm not sure how that's gonna go. Yeah. Very, very reckless with your tank. that was a nice shot. Lucky, but very nice. You could have lost a lot more HP than you did right now. Again, you're not paying any attention to your tank whatsoever. I don't understand why you didn't kept watching the pattern, and why like you showed the side of your tank to him, you know? You could have easily just like went at the corner and then turned. Yeah. And again, you're going out with the side of your tank against the pattern. You need to work a lot on positioning your tank. And yet again, exactly what I'm saying. Recklessly pushing without having much information where the tanks are, you know? You're just basically relying that the enemy team is gonna bounce on you or something. Yeah. There we go. Tanks coming in out of nowhere, shooting you. A lot of like recklessness in your gameplay. Yeah. Like there doesn't seem to be like anything calculated. You're just like herpy-derpy pushing wherever you seem fit, you know? You don't really take the time to analyze if it's good to push or not. And you don't really take the time at all to position your tank whatsoever, so... Honestly, it's a lot of YOLO pushing again. Not paying attention to your tank, you just showed half of your lower plate at the 140. He bounced, luckily. But, you know, you just showed half of your lower plate to him. These kind of little things can cost you a lot of HP. Yeah? At this point, you shouldn't try to push this anymore, because you're basically just putting yourself into a crossfire. Yes, you're gonna go and like shoot these guys in the butt, but at the same time 140 can easily just peek from here and keep you perma-tracked. So at this point you should have went around where IS-3 is and try to attack from that side. You're just willingly putting yourself into a crossfire. You know, always try to pick, if you're gonna attack, try to pick the side with the least amount of danger. But like I said, it just seems to do a lot of YOLO pushes. You don't really like think, you know, what you're about to do at all. Just like do a lot of YOLO pushes. You killed him. Like I said, 140 could have easily came and like perma-tracked you. Again, super reckless gameplay. You could have easily stopped behind the building, reloaded, instead of just like pushing towards the 277, taking shots for nothing. And what's worse now is like, yeah, he detracked you. You're way too reckless in your gameplay. You need to be like a bit more tactical, a bit more calculated. It's not bad what you're doing, like the idea is good, but the way you're like putting these ideas in practice is like very sloppy, you know? You don't pay attention to your tank whatsoever. I'm not sure this is like very good what you're doing either. Like at this point you probably would have wanted to go around like the IS-3 is. You stopped in this position here, you probably noticed that there was some 704 spotted in the back. You could have easily gotten shot. You gotta pay attention to your minimap. Could have easily gotten shot from the 704 there, you know? At least if you stopped here, should have went at least behind the building. Again, very reckless with the way you're like driving and like positioning your tank, you know? Should at least went behind. So if you do get spotted by this guy, the 704 is not gonna blast you straight away. The game is like close, you know, it's 7-7, and again you're putting yourself into a crossfire for some reason that is beyond me. You could very easily go around and kill the 140 and then kill the Skoda and the 704, but you choose to just go straight in between them for some reason that's unknown to me. And what's worse, you seem to be taking like the route that's the longest, you know, just like driving along the city. Yeah. At this point, if you decided to play like this, might as well try to, you know, go up around in the middle instead of like just driving in the middle of the field. You could very easily get shot by a lot of tanks and get perma-tracked, you know. You're playing very reckless. This is not a 279, you know. You can maybe do this with a 279, but most definitely not with the E-100. Yeah. You lost a lot of HP this game that you shouldn't have, and yeah, Crossfire, exactly what I was saying. You just put yourself in a super shitty position for absolutely no reason, right? The moral of the story is don't push through the center of all the tanks. Try to take a smaller flank that you can actually, you know, push on alone. And now the 140 shooting you, the 704 is probably gonna clap you too. At this point, there's absolutely no reason why you should still be here and going back and forth, you know. You should try to get unspotted. Try to save what's left of your game at least, to get unspotted and go around and go defend your base. Yeah. If you would have went from the start around here and killed the 140, you most definitely probably would have killed the 704 too by now, because you were spotted here. And at least this flank would have been clear, you know? So you wouldn't have to worry about like getting shot from multiple directions. This flank would have been clear by now. Instead, you went through the middle, you try to chase like multiple rabbits and you didn't get any of them, right? You went through the mid and didn't manage to win any of the flanks. So you need to put a bit more like thought process in when you push somewhere. You just seem to like chase any target that just comes up in front of you, instead of thinking of the bigger picture, you know, carrying the game. Yeah. Well, at this point, if the Foch is here and they got tanks in the base, you most definitely shouldn't be pushing up. You should be going around next to the water to try to catch them in a different angle. I guess you're about to do that, that's good. Finally, like some thought process. You better not be going through this side. Okay, never mind. You should have went around the building. You're gonna go in front here, the Foch is probably gonna spot you. And you're gonna get shot. There's absolutely no reason why you should be trying to side scrape here, because you don't know where the enemy tanks are, okay? This is not a question anymore of side scraping. It's a question of trying to find a good position where you can defend, right? From. And again, you just like find yourself in the middle of a lot of tanks for no reason. Yeah. You definitely need to work a lot on your positioning. You need to think a lot more before you push somewhere. Yeah, at this point it's just lost, so there's nothing else you can do right now. It's just endless crossfire you put yourself in. I'm surprised you lasted this long, right? Like, you could have died a long time ago. So to recap, number 1, you need to work on your position a lot, on your positioning. Think before you do something, you know? You just YOLO. You got good ideas on what to do, but like, your planning just doesn't exist, right? You seem to like, if you want to go somewhere, you just like YOLO to it. You need to like look around, look on the minimap, try to like create a way for you to take your tank where you want to take it without taking all the unnecessary damage, right? You did a lot of YOLO driving through the city, took a lot of shots for no reason whatsoever. You could have easily had at least half your HP by now, if not 2k HP. You could have easily, you could have been full HP at the end of the game. If not for all the YOLO you did in the city, taking all the unnecessary shots. Because you didn't have the patience to either side strip or angle yeah, no patience whatsoever. So definitely need to work on your positioning, need to work on your planning, think a little bit before you push somewhere. Don't just like YOLO with the tank in front hoping to bounce, It's always good to try to like save your HP, not just like throw it away, because look at this. You could have used some extra HP, yeah. But yeah, the main problem with you is positioning. You don't seem to pay attention to the minimap whatsoever. You just put yourself in the middle of like Crossfire. You did that like 3 times this game, I don't know. What you need to be doing when you attack somewhere is try to pick the weakest flank. After all the herp-a-derp in the city, you could have easily pushed the 140, killed the 704. You would have had the flank completely clear, right? Then you could have went back and just have to deal with this. Yeah. Definitely got to work on your planning, got to work on your positioning, got to work on having more patience, side scraping and angling if you're going to play a tank like this, instead of just pressing W towards the enemy tanks, hoping to bounce. Right? Yeah. So, planning, positioning. You need to work on that a lot. Yeah. Good result, though. But if you want to recap, like, if you would have taken your time, to shoot the targets that were in the city, if you'd taken your time to aim and side scrape, you could have easily like cleared the city while being full HP.
Welcome to the bee's knees.
You could have easily cleared the city being full health. And after that, you could have easily cleared the flanks and you had more than enough health to like kill the rest of the tanks. Right? So I think mainly your problem is you don't have patience. You like lack patience. Yeah. You need to be more patient. Be more patient, play more tactical, try to think more before you do something, right? Well, like when you want to do something, try to think a bit of the best way you can do that, not just like YOLOing through everything. So I think the main problem is patience. You need to work on that a bit. Okay. Thank you very much for the subs, Kill Joe and Mr. Terpene. Thank you very much for the support, both of you. Welcome to the business. Thank you. And Green Peaks coming in 70 bits. Relax. I'm relaxed, man. I'm not mad. This is purely educational. I've said it before. It's not meant to denigrate anybody or to like laugh at anybody. It's purely educational. Thank you very much, both of you. And thank you for the biddies. Okay, do we have anything? I'm hunting the damage and I'm losing my patience. You need to have patience in a game like Tanks,